Welcome back to GTU, everybody. The 80s were such a great movie decade, but one year in particular just stands out above all the rest. 1982. It's been called the greatest geek year ever. And joining me now live via Zoom is Scott, movie man, film critic, and co-producer of a new docuseries on the CW network. Hi, Scott.
Hey, Nisha, good morning.
Good morning to you. Thank you for joining us. Let's talk about 1982. What is it about that year that makes it the greatest geek year in movies ever?
Well, look at this year, 1982. Look at all of the great movies that came out all at once. You had great classic films that people still love to this day, like Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, best Star Trek movie ever. Also, Poltergeist and E.T. the Extraterrestrial. Both of those are Steven Spielberg movies. Also, all-time classic, influential films like Blade Runner and John Carpenter's The Thing. But also comedies like Night Shift and Fast Times of Ridgemont High. 1982 was just an insane year. We look back on all of it with more than 100 interviews with the directors, the actors, the producers, the writers of those movies, plus so many other personalities like the great Leonard Maltin.
Scott, I turned 10 years old that year in 1982, and I remember not being allowed to watch Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That was not a movie that I could see, but I did see E.T., one of my favorites. They call it the summer of Spielberg, right?
Absolutely, it was the summer of Spielberg. On June 4th, 1982, Poltergeist. Remember, they're here. So that opened on June 4th. That was produced by Spielberg, written and maybe even directed by Spielberg. The week after Poltergeist opened, E.T. the Extraterrestrial opened. Can you imagine Steven Spielberg having two of his biggest, most beloved movies come out just 1 week apart in June of 1982? That is why June of '82 makes it the summer of Spielberg.
Oh, Poltergeist was so scary. That was such a scary film back then. Okay, the next episode, which comes up on the CW this Saturday, is all about science fiction. Tell us about that.
Okay, so this Saturday on the CW and also on the CW app is the science fiction movies. Movies like Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, like Blade Runner, one of my favorite movies ever, period, Harrison Ford. Also Tron. Tron was a big movie, very influential film. So that's the tip of the iceberg with the science fiction movies that we cover. And again, so many interviews with the filmmakers talking about what made those movies great, like maybe why they didn't do well but came to be beloved later. But we're also talking about the experience of what it was like to be a geek in 1982, where you had to work for it, where you had to get in line for hours ahead of time to buy your ticket, where you had to read magazines like Starlog magazine to get your movie gossip news. It's so easy today, but back then you really had to work for it to be a geek.
Isn't it crazy, Scott? Like, fandom was in its infancy. Like, it was just starting, and yet these were some of the most influential movies ever made. Have we even mentioned First Blood with Sylvester Stallone came out that year?
First Blood. So the following week, this next Saturday, we're looking at the action films. Well, Sylvester Stallone had not just one, but two of his very best films of his career come out in 1982. First Blood, which is a great movie, a different side of Stallone that we never saw before. But that same year, in May of '82, you had Rocky III with Mr. T, Clubber Lang. So Spielberg, Sylvester Stallone had a great year in '82.
Oh, Scott, you're taking us all back right now. Where can people watch?
Okay, you can watch it on the CW. You can watch it. The Spielberg episode is re-airing tomorrow, Tuesday night. Every new episode drops every Saturday for the rest of July. And again, if you miss it on the CW, you can watch it anytime you want on the CW app, where you can watch it for free. Just download the app.
Times have changed since 1982. Scott Movie Mance joining us this morning. Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody. A link to all the info on our website at abc4.com/GTU. Thank you, Scott.